set to go. Working on the main track here at Aqueduct. Fear not, the tractors were off by the time the post parade began for today's first race. In fact, 2-year-old fillies, including a hot Uncle Mo firster, rang in the card. Sunday's action, welcome aboard, off and running again on this latest edition of Aqueduct Insider with Richard Migliore and Jason Blewitt. And we finish off, Mig, the second full week, and a lot of racing we've had here at Aqueduct.
Yeah, a lot of racing and a lot of good racing. And I always like the Stallion Stakes, you know, for horses bred in the state of New York. Gives them an opportunity for a big payday, and the breeders that put so much into it.
And maybe the biggest upset in today's featured 8th race, the Staten Island, just one filly by Freud. It usually seems with these Stallion Stakes, male or female, you've got a minimum of 4 Freuds. Minimum 4.
Yeah, it's interesting, and they do anything, too. They turf or they dirt, but only one this time, and we'll see how that one did.
Yeah, Raffy's Majesty was the sort of number sire in the race. Couple of fillies by Raffy's Majesty, and as the Big said, sit tight for today's 9th running of the Staten Island. And look, we're just a couple of weeks out from the November 28th Grade 1 Cigar Mile, but it's never too early to start really popping this race and promoting it, and for good reason. It comes up a solid affair every year, and Private Zone has got the race on his radar looking for back-to-back wins.
Well, he came out of the Breeders' Cup last year to run away with the Cigar Mile. Powerful performance, maybe a little bit aided by that rail last year that was just like a conveyor belt, but you know he's a good horse. But some news about Private Zone. I mean, we all talked about Run Happy, trainer being fired right after the day after the Breeders' Cup. Well, they took about 2 weeks to decide to get rid of the trainer of Private Zone. They switched up. Brian Lynch will be the new conditioner of Private Zone.
A Private Zone who looks to join Congaree in a race that has nearly 30 years of history. Congaree in 02 and 03, the only back-to-back winner of the Cigar Mile. And it's a list that will probably grow from here, but Red Vine, Mashawish, and Matru seem like the main threats right now. It's just a 4-horse field, or at least 4 definites for the Cigar Mile.
And I'm sure, like you said, it will grow to a larger field. I'm interested in Red Vine. If it's not that conveyor belt kind of inside speed track it was last year, Red Vine ran a big race in the Breeders' Cup, and I think he can rebound with the right setup.
He's really put things together on the dirt this year for Christophe Comant, who's never won the Cigar Mile. That would be a sight to see, and good to have Private Zone back in the Big Apple. And El Kabir, one of our buddies from last winter, took his show on the road, and he was one of quite a few horses and quite a few tight finishes that we covered on the latest edition of the National Racing Report.
Yeah, good to see El Kabir get back on track. He really didn't run his A race in the Bold Ruler. I think he needed to shake off a little bit of that ring rust. I thought he was real good here. I'm convinced he's a better horse around one turn. 6 might be a little bit short, but 7/8 to a mile around one turn could be right in his wheelhouse.
All right, maybe the General George down the road. Carter in 2016 for the Zayats. The Racing Report, 6 p.m. Monday and Tuesday on MSG+. We had Mr. Andy Serling sitting between. It's just the Mig and I, and of course all of you, as we check out today's featured 8th race, the 9th running of the Staten Island on a blue sky. Very nice November afternoon at the Big A. Fast and firm, and let's go up to Johnny I.
And they're off. Slow start for number 6, Sharifa. She trails the field. Vicky's Dancer is out well and out for the lead. Take Issue down on the inside, and Dreamboat Annie on the extreme outside. Storied Lady races in 4th. Then it's Old Harbor next in 5th after that slow start. Sharifa now moves up on the outside from 6th. Say 3 Hail Marys is 7th, and Family of Roses trails the field in 8th. It's Vicky's Dancer with the lead, and she ran the opening quarter mile in 23 seconds. Take Issue, Dreamboat Annie. Heads apart 2nd and 3rd, with Sharifa on the extreme outside in 4th. And Old Harbor is down at the rail. Storied Lady in between horses. Then Say 3 Hail Marys, and Family of Roses continues to trail midway around the far turn. Vicky's Dancer by a little more than a length. The half in 46 seconds. Vicky's Dancer now by almost 2. Then it's Dreamboat Annie, Sharifa, and Take Issue down at the rail. They pass the quarter pole. Vicky's Dancer drifting out a bit there. On the outside, it's Sharifa. Dreamboat Annie is there. Take Issue down at the rail. Then Say 3 Hail Marys and Old Harbor inside the 8th pole. It is Sharifa who had that slow start. Now has the lead in deep stretch. Say 3 Hail Marys on the outside, and it's got to be Sharifa. Overcomes problems at the start and wins by a length. Say 3 Hail Marys was 2nd. Old Harbor up for 3rd.
A run-and-gun filly, not today. Sharifa likes to run on the engine. Things did not work out for her, the 6-horse, from the starting gate.
Yeah, and keep an eye on how she starts to run at the doors and kind of pops up in the air and gets herself left. She hurt her own cause more than anything else there, got off well behind the field, and showed a different dimension because she has never been effective from off the pace, and today she was just that good.
An hour and a half, the minimum, the best in the 9th running of the Staten Island filly by Posse, and this goes back to owner Antonino Muccio and trainer Linda Rice. They picked this horse up for $16,000, basically a short time after they claimed Palace for a quarter and went on to win over $1 million with him.
Yeah, well, I actually talked to Linda about that when I got to speak to her after the race, and you got to feel a little bit for, say, 3 Hail Marys. I mean, she's right in there fighting, been second in a lot of these races. She's picking up good checks, but maybe she needs a little more help than just a prayer.
Just a prayer. Say 3 Hail Marys. The only repent filly that can put one foot in front of the other. She's very good, but on the day, not as good as Sharifa as the Migs alongside Linda Rice.
Linda, Sharifa's always kind of done her best running when she's right up on top of the pace. Were you concerned with the way she got away from the gate?
I was sick to my stomach. You know, she kind of outbroke the gates, popped it open, and got off awkwardly. But Cornelio, you know, he sat patiently and got the job done anyway, so fortunately.
She was so good today. Her last start, uncharacteristically poor effort in September. She's had a little time. Was there anything that you had to deal with?
You know, she had gotten a virus and gotten a mild pneumonia after she won the Critical Eye, and I think she needed more time to recover and just wasn't as ready as I thought she was last time.
You've made so many good claims, and particularly for Antonino Muccio, Palace comes to mind. I mean, you took this filly for $16,000. Is she quickly becoming the best claim you've ever made?
Well, I think Palace might be the best claim I've ever made, but, you know, she's been a great claim, and, you know, there's always quite a few that we don't want to talk about, but, you know, she's one of the good ones, and but she's got a lot of work to do before she gets to Palace.
Any chance you know where you might be thinking about going next with her?
You know, I think there's a stake going 2 turns at Aqueduct in a couple, maybe about a month, probably there.
That'd be the Woodhaven against New York Brits?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. Congratulations.
Thank you, Richie.
All right, Linda Rice, and doing a great job as always. Always good catching up with her here on Insider. And the fact that she was able to bring Sharifa back, things didn't work out against Kirov back in mid-September at Belmont, and able to give her a layoff and then really tighten the screws for this race. It just goes to show you just how great a horse person she is.
Well, and just recognizing, you know, that she hadn't recovered fully from that virus she spoke about and giving her the opportunity to really get over it. And sometimes horses don't give you the signs. They act good, they eat well, their color's good, their coat's good. But the fact that she could recognize it and then rewarded with this effort. And, you know, the point I was trying to make is that, you know, obviously Palace is, you know, in another stratosphere as far as her claims, but just to illustrate just how many good claims they've made, particularly for Antonino Muccio, and think about $16,000 what this filly's been able to run out.
And then you've got residual value as a broodmare. You get her in foal to a nice stallion, maybe you put her through the auction ring and you get a nice return on your investment, but she's a good one today.
Maybe she goes to Palace.
Maybe she goes to Palace. Good call. I would have to think Linda and Antonino have more than one lifetime breeding season of Palace, and we wish him the best of luck heading to Spendthrift Farm in 2016. Good call with that, Mig. Race number 1 is where we are going. And speaking of Spendthrift, they've got a Malibu Moon firster in the race. John Sheriff does anyway from the outside. In fact, scratch that, a Giant Oak firster. Uncle Mo firster, though, is the hot one for King Prussia on the inside. Mo D'Amour as we go back to Johnny I.
And Mo D'Amour. Mo D'Amour from the inside post out to grab the lead over Gate Crasher. Any Day Is My Day is on the outside and running in 3rd. Ruby Dusk is next in 4th, and then it's a 4-length break. Back to Corella, Rayella, and Princess Diana. The opening quarter mile in 22 4/5 seconds, and it's the big favorite, Mo D'Amour at the rail, leading by a head over a big long shot, Gate Crasher, gap of 2. Any Day Is My Day runs in 3rd, with Ruby Dusk down on the inside in 4th. Almost 4 lengths to Corella in 5th, and farther back, Rayella and the Princess Diana. Mo D'Amore has the lead at the head of the stretch. It's Mo D'Amore in front after a half in 46-3. But on the outside, here comes Any Day Is My Day. Any Day Is My Day drifting out a bit. Mo D'Amore is down at the rail. Mo D'Amore narrowly. Any Day Is My Day. Corella has moved into third. Less than a 16th to the wire. Mo D'Amore trying to hold off Any Day Is My Day. And Mo D'Amore has won it. 3/4 of a length. Any Day Is My Day second. Then Corella and Rayella.
Hall of Famer John Velasquez stays busy on Mo D'Amore, and he needed to keep at bay there because the Fleet Alex Firster, the number 6, Any Day Is My Day, ran a good race in defeat.
Yeah, Any Day Is My Day took a bold run at her. It looked like she might actually have her measure at one point, but much like the other Uncle Mo's we've seen, Mo D'Amore just dropped her head and kept at it resolutely. But I'm just was so interested in Any Day Is My Day, and a Fleet Alex sold for $3,000 at the Keeneland September sale last year, and it just underscores a good horse can come from anywhere.
Yeah, maybe it's a case of Edmund Pringle, who sent her out today, getting a few phone calls to sell her for a lot more than $3,000, considering it was a 2-5 Pletcher King of Prussia Uncle Mo Firster that got the better of Any Day Is My Day today.
And even if they don't sell her, she's going to be awfully tough next time in a maiden race. Hopefully she doesn't hook another Todd Pletcher and or Uncle Mo.
That might be the case. And for Uncle Mo, 24 winners from 57 runners. Christophe Camont, Joel Rosario, and a whole lot of turf racing coming your way this Sunday at the Big A.
Now you can enjoy your favorite pro and fantasy football teams while playing the races in style as Longshots welcomes back NFL Sunday Ticket. With over 400 HD TVs, 270 individual carols, a full-service sports bar and food menu, Longshots is the place to catch all the great racing and football action. So come on out, bring your friends, bring your league to Longshots, located on the second floor at Aqueduct.
Mark your calendar, one day only. Next Saturday, November 21st, is our annual Big A Fall Handicapping Contest. The rules a bit different this go-round, and as opposed to a two-day weekend sort of contest, it's just the one single day. A $500 buy-in, $300 to the prize pool, $200 your live bankroll. You will bet your winnings, and that's your money, and 4 coveted seats to the National Handicapping Championship in Las Vegas. It's the MIG, it's Jason, Sunday's Aqueduct Insider on day number 11 of the fall meet. Let's do it here on MSG Plus. Getting back to race number 2, John Abrial in the booth. Pretty tough group of $25,000 3 and up starter allowance horses.
And they're off. Point Hope and Ali Ender, and now towards the inside, it's a Call Daddy moving up along with the gray Grandpa Len. Call Daddy to the front, Grandpa Len in second, and Bird Prince is now up to third. Ali Ender back in fourth. Candid Desire is fifth, and Point Hope now the trailer in sixth as they race up the backstretch, and it is the even money favorite Call Daddy in front by a length. Grandpa Len in second by a neck. Bird Prince down on the inside in third. Ali Ender's in between horses with Candid Desire on the outside, and a break of 4 to Point Hope through an opening quarter mile, 24 3/5 seconds. As they race around the far turn, it's Call Daddy now by a length and a half. Grandpa Len, Bird Prince, Ali Ender, Candid Desire, those 4 all bunched up. Gap of 6 back to Point Hope, who trails in sixth. The half mile, 47 2/5 seconds. Call Daddy right there down at the rail with the lead as they head for home. It's Call Daddy in front by 2. Far outside, it's Candid Desire. Then it's Ali Ender, followed by Point Hope. And now there's a furlong to the finish. And it's Call Daddy with a 4-length lead. Point Hope continues to gain on the outside. Call Daddy in front by 3. Point Hope in second. Call Daddy by a length. And it's going to look like Call Daddy held on. We'll see in the photo with the late closing Point Hope.
Another big effort for Linda Rice and Antonino Muccio, but that one in defeat. Point Hope, who just ran out of racetrack, is Call Daddy Mig, hot to the touch, winning his 4th straight.
Call Daddy was calling for the wire about the 16th pole, and nice to see the Toscano family with another win. They've had a terrific year, and this for the Drawing Away stable. But boy, it got desperate late. It looked like it was over at the 8th pole, and at the 16th pole, you knew it was going to be desperately close.
Well, in a game of inches at times, you want one of those guys that can give you 6 inches to a foot, and you got that with Javier Castellanos staying busy. Very strong finisher aboard Call Daddy. If I'm not mistaken, this might just be the first horse with Drawing Away and John Toscano teaming up for a victory. Let's move on to race number 7. I thought this was the best race on today's card. Pretty solid group, high-level group of fillies and mares in this allowance race as we send it back upstairs to John and Brielle.
Simple Love and Gray Walls, Seacoast down at the rail. And from the outside, it's Tippy Tap. Simple Love and Tippy Tap heads apart, sitting right behind Gray Walls and Seacoast down at the rail. My Caramia is in between horses and running in 5th. Love and Marriage to her inside in 6th, and Neck of the Moon on the outside in 7th. Then it's Fresh Feline and Run of the River, who's a bit tough to handle there at the back of the pack in 9th. They've reached the back stretch. The quarter was run in 23 and 3/5 seconds. And it's a battle up front between Tippy Tap and Simple Love. Simple Love on the inside, Tippy Tap on the outside. They've got 2.5 lengths on Seacoast, who rates nicely in 3rd. Another 2.5 to Gray Walls in 4th by a head. Love and Marriage on the inside in 5th. Then My Caramia in 6th, followed by Fresh Feline, Neck of the Moon, and Run of the River. Half mile, 47 seconds. Simple Love now by a half length over Tippy Tap. The long shots are 1-2 with Seacoast and Love and Marriage. Asked for more now as they come for the top of the stretch. It's Simple Love. Here's Love and Marriage, and on the outside, it's Seacoast. Fresh Feline has gained ground down at the rail into 4th. Simple Love, Love and Marriage, Seacoast on the outside. Fresh Feline looking for a way through. And Neck of the Moon is still in with a chance. The 5 of them come down for the finish. Here's Love and Marriage. Seacoast on the outside. Fresh Feline down at the rail. Love and Marriage by a neck. Close for second. Seacoast or Fresh Feline.
It's a numbers game at times, and Chad Brown had a couple in today's 7th. The state-bred Neck of the Moon, who flattened out a bit in mid-stretch, but not the case with Love and Marriage, who was pretty resolute in getting the money over the Clement runner.
Yeah, she was extremely game. The one horse, Seacoast, took a big run at her. It looked like she might have her measure, but I go back to something we talked about last night. Seacoast had 6 seconds going into this race with 2 wins. Now she's got 7 seconds. It just looks like a horse that gets there and doesn't really finish the deal. Doesn't have that killer instinct. She looks like she's pretty content being second. That being said, I thought Fresh Feline ran well, a little bit further off the pace than I thought she might be, but finished well on the inside. But Chad Brown, it's his world. Everybody else is living in it.
Just can't get around Chad. We couldn't have a complete insider without Chad winning one of the better races on today's card, and a good job by he and his crew with Love and Marriage off that lengthy layoff when they brought her back this past summer at the Spa. Let's see what else happened on day number 11, our second Sunday, before we have back-to-back dark days. Johnny I, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the Sunday nightcap, race number 9.
They have passed XXX. Springer's Point comes away with the lead. Down on the inside is Venter's Gate. Here's Why Not Whiskey and Silent Critic on the extreme outside. Inventor's Gate in front by 2. And Inventor's Gate is going to win it here, drawing away at the end. Why Not Whiskey got up for second. Springer's Point was third. Forever Restless, and She Is My Hero, the half in 47 and 4/5 seconds, and they're in the stretch. It is Focia on the outside. Now Mohawk Lily begins to pick it up with 1/8 of a mile to the finish. Awesome Winter down towards the rail. Focia over Awesome Winter. It is Focia in front, then Awesome Winter, Cool Charlie, and Mohawk Lily. Focia the winner. Very close for second between Cool Charlie and Awesome Winter. Mohawk Lily was 4th. Goes Frazier is 3rd. Then Celebrity Warrior, a Model Citizen down at the rail and In Trouble looking for a way through. Chang's Secret now in front by 2. Down goes Frazier. There's running room here for In Trouble, and he's coming on, but Chang's Secret now has a 3-length lead. In Trouble on the outside. Model Citizen down at the rail. It is Chang's Secret, and Chang's Secret has pulled off the upset. In Trouble was second. Close for third. Down goes Frazier or Model Citizen. 7-1. Little Bit of Dominic, the one to catch, and Little Bit of Dominic has a 3-length lead. You Got It giving chase in second. Then Take a Bite. Now Zababa is coming on the outside, where there's just an eighth of a mile to the finish, and T-Shuck is down at the rail and making a late run. Little Bit of Dominic, T-Shuck down at the rail. Then You Got It and Zababa. They come for the wire. Little Bit of Dominic and T-Shuck. It's going to be tight. Too tight to call. T-Shuck at the rail, Little Bit of Dominic on the outside. Photo finish. Find an opening here. Plundering's on the outside with Holy Week. River Night, the Crocheron Kid. Now Loose Money darts to the inside and got stopped. Got stopped right there in deep stretch. Plundering moves up on the outside now to grab the lead. Plundering in front, then the Crocheron Kid. Late move, Touch of Paradise. Plundering wins it. The Crocheron Kid was second. Touch of Paradise finished third.
All right, Plundering finally broke his maiden. A string of seconditis no longer got the maiden diploma beneath Erod Ortiz Jr. And nobody, Mig, even though the favorite won the last race at 6 and change, nobody was alive in the pick six. 21,000 or just under. I'll make up the $30 and we'll make it an even $21,000 into Wednesday's card as we start a new week at 12:20. Let's backtrack though, Migs. Race number 6 for our second look with Cappy, and a big happy birthday to Dylan Davis.
Well, this is a nice way to give yourself a birthday present, deliver a ride like this. And am I saying this correctly? T-Shock, is that right?
T-Shock, yeah.
All right,
sounds good.
Yeah, well, the 8-horse gets a terrific ride. Dylan Davis, I can't get over how much he looks like his dad, Robbie Davis, finishing on this horse. It could be Robbie as far as I'm concerned, and delivered a terrific ride, get the money for James Ryerson, and complete that rolling double with his sister Jackie winning the race before on a pretty good price horse going wire to wire on the turf. So the Riding Davises are doing well, and happy birthday to Dylan. 22 years young.
Oh, he's got the entire world in front of him, and one of our hot jockeys, in fact, the hot jockey for the week, just 23 years of age. Quite a bit of youth, but quite a bit of talent in that jockey colony is the big nose. One claim on today's card, Zababa, a no-show as the odds-on favorite in race 6, won by Dylan Davis and Jimmy Ryerson, picked up by Chris Engelhart for $40,000. A 5-day week. We only had the one dark day. There's been plenty of Big A racing to go around, and we'll look at some of the week's top performers and a whole lot more down the stretch here on Insider. Holiday Fest right around the corner at the Big A. We've got Private Zone joining us. Maybe he'll make an appearance before his potential title defense in the Cigar Mile up in Equestris. He could take an elevator up there. $61 per person, $25 per child in that Cigar Mile Day Equestris lunch buffet, and a little low roller action contest, or a little low roller contest with the $40 buy-in registration first floor of the Aqueduct Grandstand on the last major racing card of the year in the Big Apple. The moon is out. The Mig and Jason are charging down to the wire, and we will get to a very speedy horse who I have developed a real affinity for in the Big Deluxe, who no matter who puts the saddle on him, no matter if it's dry, it's wet, rain or shine, this horse shows up with a big effort.
Well, you know, much like a mailman, he delivers. Rain or shine, he shows up. Claimed back, actually, by Steve Kosaris. You know he's popular at the claim box because he is a gamer every single time he shows up, and I've come to really like him, too. This is the kind of horse that, to me, is the heart and soul of our game.
And a 98 buyer for that win going 3/4 the other day in the Michael Imperio Silks as we check out Red Guard, who looked like a good one. A 2-win Friday turf day at Aqueduct for Shug. This was his first winner on the grass.
Yeah, and, you know, we talk about this all the time, how Shug's horses get better with racing. They continue to develop. This horse looked really good. I love the way he's reaching out through the wire. I don't know exactly what he was beating, but I like the style in which he did it.
3-year-old by Bernardini to a 5-year-old by Gosapper, who's just coming into his own. What about the effort here, Mig and the Red Smith, with Mr. Maybe?
Well, when we talk about good turf horses, we talk about horses with what we call a turn of foot, the ability to accelerate. Mr. Maybe's acceleration was so eye-catching here. And for him to be able to put this much separation between him and the field in such a short time, and a good field of horses off a slow pace, tells me this horse is going to be up for bigger and better things going forward.
And bigger and better in a word or in two words has been the 2015 campaign for jockey Erod Ortiz. Just 23 years old. He is second in the nation in purse money won with over or nearly $21 million, and he gets the distinction of being the week's hot jockey. It keeps getting better for Erod Ortiz.
It's just incredible. His confidence level, the way he rides the turf is incredible. He talked about yesterday to me, Ramon Dominguez telling him, kind of giving him some hints and clues. Well, he's a good student because he's definitely executing the things he's learned. Just a terrific young rider.
And where does he sit in the standings? In fact, he's in the top half, sitting, what is he sitting? Fourth right now with 9 victories. It's his younger brother, Jose, tied for first with 11, and good old Kendrick Carmouche putting up some solid numbers at the Big A.
But I tell you what, if you're a trainer, you get the luxury of looking at this list of riders and feeling pretty comfortable, probably with your top 15 to 20 selections, and look at the guys at the top of that list.
When you look at Point Hope and the tough loser by a whisker in race number 6, Linda Rice was a head and a nose away from winning 3 races today at Aqueduct. She's got 4 for the week, and Linda continues to keep that white-hot streak.
Yeah, and we talked about it a great deal on the National Racing Report this morning. Hot City Girl getting the money yesterday at Laurel, and certainly big shoes to fill with La Verdad, her sister, going off to be bred eventually. By the end of the year, she'll be done. But Hot City Girl certainly probably has accomplished more up to this point in her career than La Verdad had.
No question about that. And Hot City Girl, a good one. Tune into the Racing Report. Linda Rice, 4 victories at the newly begun meet. Chad Brown, number 1. Again, a win for Chad today with Love in Marriage in the day's 7th race. And Chad will be sending out turf horses for as long as we have grass racing here at Aqueduct.
Yeah, but he can win on the dirt as well. He's dangerous no matter what. And, you know, just to get back to that list, we can only be one hot trainer, obviously, a week. Yeah. But I think about what John Paracello's been able to do. 4 wins from 5 starters, you know, just really making a comeback with a small stable right now. And even Gary Siaka having a terrific meet.
Yeah, both those guys have had laser-like focus so far and pointed with success their horses to the Big A the first 2 weeks of racing. And speaking of that laser kind of focus, we've got Maggie Wolfendale with Wednesday's play in the 9th.
Well, our time here on the Big A turf is limited, so I'm getting all the paddock insiders I can in on it as we'll take a look at Wednesday's card. Race number 9 is the maiden special weight for the 2-year-old fillies. We're going the mile distance, and one stretching out in her second start is the Bill Mott trainee, my Dinah Lee in here, whom, yes, she showed speed going the 6 furlongs at Belmont and faded. Why do I want a horse stretching out? Well, because speed has been okay here at the Big A around these 2 turns, and furthermore, she just looked like a filly that would benefit from that first start, and 2, like getting more ground. So I like all those factors, and that's why my Dinah Lee is your paddock insider for tonight. Guys, back to you.
Maybe My Donna Lee is your pick 6 single and that near $21,000 carryover Wednesday. That'll be waiting for you. Sharifa terrific today with veteran Cornelia Velasquez, Linda Rice, and Fuego. Racing Report Monday and Tuesday at 6 p.m. on MSG+. And from the Big A that is lit up with the moon in the background, the Big and I say, pleasant good evening.